Good afternoon, family, friends, and strangers, as I always say. I'm back alive again today. I am back home from inpatient treatment at Manova Park Behavioral Health. I left a little bit early because I had told y'all in my previous videos that children's service is part of my life, and my older adults sold their house and they moved into Florida. So with that being said, I left a little bit early than I expected to get my 17-year-old, because my 17-year-old resided with them until I got out of treatment, and I was able to pick them up. But I had to pick them up early because, again, they sold their home and they moved into Florida, which they left today, Monday. No, it's today Tuesday? Today is Tuesday, Monday. So, again, over the weekend, they had to do what they had to do, and my son was helping them. So to move forward, I wanted to tell you my experience at Manova Park Behavioral Health. I can only tell you what I personally experienced. So mentioning other people, I will say not client, I'm sorry, I'm not at work. Not client, peer. I will use that word peer. That means, or other clients I engage with there as being there for inpatient treatment. So the exciting part is, as I mentioned before, it's not a locked facility. I could have walked out the door at any time, but I really found it important to be there and learn not to pick up that bottle. I said in my earlier video, I am a recovering alcoholic. That is what I am. However, I don't have to remain that, and I do not have to continue to use that name as identifying myself as a person, because I am Theresa all day long and have been Theresa forever. Now, what I want to do is go over a few things that I have learned while I was inpatient, and topics that we went over or things that we did while we inpatient. I think it's good for you to know. So in case you go inpatient, every facility is different, but this particular one I went to. So the first day I was there, I'm flipping through some things because I'm the person that when I go and learn something, I take notes. I write down things I do. Now, I do not write down things that other people do because it's not for me to share. If they want to share something, they could share it pertaining to them. But I felt that I learned a lot that I either did not remember during my courses and classes when I obtained my master's as a professional counselor. You don't remember everything you learn. So we went over some things I didn't know and some things I did remember, but not quite remember. So I like that because it refreshed my memory, and then they educated me with additional information that I didn't know in inpatient. So we did a lot of journaling. It helped us address a lot of other different issues that we weren't thinking about, or if we did, we kind of push it to the side. And let me share that with you. So sister had to wear bifocals. All right. So I listed my title, Things I Am Learning, because I am learning, again, not to drink alcohol, not to pick up that bottle. So let me say this from the beginning. One of the essential important things I learned, quite a few things, but the main thing I learned, the reason why I keep on picking up that bottle is, one, being emotional and playing with my emotions, or not identifying my emotions when, whether they're conscious or unconscious, they are there, because we operate, especially females, out of emotions and feelings, and most people do, male or female. But with that being said, for me, I wasn't addressing my emotions. I wasn't addressing childhood traumas. I wasn't addressing past relationships or marriages with dysfunctionalness in the relationships. Wasn't piecing them all together. All this is connected, but it's like a bright light came on to me, Theresa, because I was literally craving alcohol while I was there. I'm like, why am I craving alcohol and I'm in inpatient treatment? This this isn't good. But to find out, usually when you early in recovery, you kind of go through these things. But as years go by, you'll get better. It takes time. It really does. But at that moment of craving that alcohol, I was like, damn, why am I craving alcohol? And it hit me. You're not addressing the underlying emotions that you're dealing with. What are you angry about? What are you sad about? What are you frustrated about? What is causing you to want to fix your problems or your emotions with this alcohol? What is it? And I asked myself sometimes, and I was honest with myself too, sometimes I'm not able to identify the actual problem or emotion I'm dealing with because I done suppressed it in my own way, or I done brushed it off to the point I'm not really focused on it, but it's there. Why am I wanting to drink? Now, since I've been out of inpatient, I haven't drunk anything. I haven't thought about it. You know, I go past the liquor store all the time where I normally would go. I go past it and I keep on going past it. So, you know, I got my days in recovery, and I'll tell y'all before I end the video, what am I doing to move forward in my life, and what I have learned I'm applying. And I'm very happy about that. I'm very proud about that. And I'm very grateful and humble to my higher power for allowing me to go through what I went through prior to inpatient, prior to detox and all that. These last few months, I thank God I went through what I went through, because it wouldn't have pushed me to go get the help that I needed to get and the knowledge I need to get to stay sober and use my intelligence, my skills, my ability in a better way. He didn't give me all this over the years to just throw away. Remember, I told you in the first video, I was prophesied to, I would help draw millions. Well, he has to prepare me, but most people that's being prepared for something, they've been broken down the line, or they done experienced things in their life to get them to where they need to be at to help other people. So who am I helping first? Thank you. I'm helping myself first. Yes, my family and like my children encouraged me to go inpatient. I thank them for their support and everything. But at the end of the day, I have to make that decision. Even with God, he leaves it up to me to make that decision to do what's right or to do what's wrong. So we all have free will. With that being said, so the first day I got there was March the 10th. And we went over Oxycontin. I never used Oxycontin. Maybe you have. But I realized Oxycontin is a painkiller, but it's been killing millions of people. They take this drug, they end up sniffing the drug, injecting this drug. It is a deadly drug. Again, I know not to take this if I'm ever prescribed something. If I go in the hospital or get injured, not to take this particular medication. So they wanted us to write something pertaining to that day, to write a letter to a person who emotionally and mentally hurt you. Afterwards, we went to a bonfire and we was able to burn that letter. You know, it's like releasing a balloon. So again, as far as emotionally and mentally, my last relationship, I was tremendously hurt. Very disappointed. But I'll tell y'all more about that at the end and what I did while I was in treatment. Okay. Then 2 days later, we went outside activities the second day. I'm only giving you so many days of what we did, so I don't fill you up with 20-something days. Okay. But we also went over the baby elephant syndrome. What that basically is describing, where I have been told they take baby elephants and they chain them up with, no, they put a rope, not even a thick rope or whatever, but a rope around that elephant's leg to where they can't pull away and just walk away, right? So the baby elephants start developing over time as it grows that it can't go nowhere. It's stuck there, right? So what they did later on, it is a chain. I'm sorry, it is a chain. And then later on, as that baby elephant grows up, it's an adult, they put a rope on there. And people was like, why isn't this elephant not moving or trying to break it? Well, they were conditioned mentally that they could not go nowhere as they was growing up because the chain only let them go so far. So again, it's like us. In our mind, we condition ourselves that we could only go so far. We could only do this or we could only do that. We've been conditioned. Our brain, our mind. So physically, we're stuck. For us, we emotionally, mentally, sometimes physically, when you can't get out of bed and do all these other things, physically, socially, spiritually, stuck. I'm guilty of it too. So we did a worksheet that was 50 self-letting beliefs that women in addiction and recovery are self-belief. I'm an addict. I'm never going to go nowhere. I'm not this. I'm not that. Like we just really have low self-esteem as women, especially in addiction, right? We think less of ourselves. We give self-affirmations that are negative versus self-affirmations that are positive. So, again, learning about these different things. We had another assignment identifying healthy foods during addiction. Again, how are we eating? How are we taking care of our body? Especially when I'm drinking, I really don't eat. Now, I'm a plus size woman. I done gained back 50 pounds after gastro bypass, and I'll tell you about that too. I went down, I was 300, I went down to 200, now I'm at 250. So I'm back 50 pounds less than 300. I'm trying to get back down to 2. So again, part of getting my schedule together and everything, I will be back in the gym because y'all seen videos where I was in the gym. Definitely getting back there. Plus, it's free at the YMCA through my medical insurance. So, I'm going to use that. So, anyway, the other thing we learned about was identifying new skills or activities you haven't learned yet. Why are they wanting us to learn about activities or things that we haven't learned about, as far as available to us, is to keep us busy. Doing something positive and constructive. The other thing we did was reflection. Response to, we had 49 choices. And it dealt with anxiety, for example, addiction, recovery. It was dealing with all those things. Addiction, keep that in mind because I'm going to talk about something with that. How about when we're in our addiction, we're stealing from people? Emotionally, I didn't look at it that way before I went into treatment. How about physically, stealing property? What about mentally stealing from someone? What about sexually stealing from someone? I was like, I don't steal. What are y'all talking about? I realized what they were saying. Again, and being introduced to something new and coming to acceptance and acknowledging you have these behavior patterns too. Compulsive lying, gossiping, shopping, over shopping, buying stuff you don't even need, sending it back, gambling. I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty of a lot of things that I didn't think involved me. Not that I walked on water, I just didn't see it that way. So the more knowledge we gain, the more opportunity and choices we do have. And just to name a few things, complete self-sabotage. We had that assignment. And again, how are we sabotaging ourselves? In a relationship, we're definitely doing that. Around other people, using all this stuff involves. We're affecting our loved ones, our family, friends, even strangers when we're out there in society. Okay? I didn't attend that group that day. I went to Dennis and we had open discussion. Keep that in mind too, because I'm going to tell you something to follow up with that. Remembering when. What is it that we're remembering? For example, remember the last time I had an argument with a close friend. I'm thinking, no, I was usually the one fussing, they listening. When was the last time you had a good time sober? How many of us cannot function normally without getting high or drinking? Because at that point, we just friendly, or we're aggressive. We wanted it too. When was the last time that you left this state? Simple questions. So in other words, it was giving us challenging questions to get our mind rolling and thinking, when was this last time? What is it that I really do remember? How am I going to address this? I see several of y'all on there watching. I appreciate you listening. I find it important to share my experience with all of you, and each is their own. Some people take this experience and they go into AA or NA and they do leads, as I understand it, and they tell their story in a whole component of that 1 hour. So I choose to do mine a little differently. Not that I will not do a lead. I will when the time comes. When was the last time you reached a milestone or goal? A lot of people operate just for today. I have this band on just for, what it says, one day at a time, which is true. But I'm still a person that plan goals, set goals for myself, and to reach my goals. And if I don't reach them, I'm going to try again until I reach them or take a different approach to reach it. So that's the type of person I am. We journal your current problem that you are trying to work through and what are you're trying to do to solve it. What is the real problem? Well, the real problem for me is not picking up and drinking. The real problem is me finding the underlying reason. Why do I keep on doing what I'm doing? When is enough is going to be enough? It's when you're broken. It's when you lose everything. That's enough to say anybody's enough of anything. So let me move on. We did some meditation. We did some more worksheets. We did journaling. The one that I really liked was write a letter to your youngest self. If you known about, as you write a letter to your younger self, what you knowing about addiction, what would you tell your younger self? So you could be this better person as you become an adult. So I shared with the counselor there, because she ran the group. I said, you know what? I remember, not just remember, but I end up remembering over so many days, especially when this came up, this topic. When I was a little girl, I would cry. I would have dreams. I'm crying. I'm just crying. It was this lady, but I couldn't see her face. But she took and held me, and I just cried and cried in her arms. I don't know what the lady said to me. I couldn't remember what she said to me, but I would have that dream periodically growing up. So as an adult, I remember having a dream. I'm the adult, this little girl coming to me. And who I realized that little girl was me. I went to myself as a little girl to my adult self. That's why I couldn't see my own face. I don't think as a child I would have understood looking at myself older in who I am today. But as that little girl, I went to my adult self and I was crying into my own arms. And again, as an adult, I realized myself as a kid because, you see pictures of yourself as a kid. So, oh, that's me. Isn't that amazing? Not knowing I was crying in my own arms because my mom was an alcoholic and drug user. She abused us physically, mentally, and emotionally, never sexually. Never had that problem with my mother. But all the other areas, she fit the category. When in her recovery, she admitted these things, not only to us, the one stuff she could remember, a lot of stuff we had to tell her that she didn't remember because she went into blackouts too, like I did. And like many of us do. And she told me, particularly Theresa, anytime you want to go to counseling or you want me to come attend something, let me know. I will be there to support you. That's in her recovery stage. Well, she died in 2005. So where I'm at today, where I really would love for her to be here and be supportive, she's gone, but she's only here in spirit, Anyway, that was another topic that really touched my heart and really had me thinking and having me reflect back on my childhood. Now, as far as my father, he drank, but he's more of a addict when it comes to drugs. You know, where he at today, I have no clue as far as where he at in his recovery. Me, him does not speak at this time. Again, I have my indifference with him. I will work on that during my recovery, address that. So some other things we went over is the language of letting go. Letting go of what? Because remember in my other videos, I played let it go and let God. What is it that we letting go? All this hurt, all this pain, all the suffering we endure. We did not ask for this as children. My children didn't ask for it. You know, growing up, my older three, they didn't deal with alcoholism with me because I didn't start indulging in drinking like I have until I was 47. Now, it doesn't make me no better. It's just that the addiction didn't kick in. So I have two barriers with drinking. One, I had the gastro bypass. And in any of you that get this surgery, whether it's the bypass or the, I forget what to call it. It's the second one. When you get it, you're not going to be able to eat the way you used to eat, right? So I could, for example, a Big Mac, a fry, and a large drink, and an apple pie, I could tear that up in so many minutes. Today, I can't eat like that. I may be able to eat half of the sandwich at this point, but when I first had the surgery, I could only take 2 to 3 bites and a sip of something. Nevertheless, one fry. So my stomach probably did stretch a little bit more, but I still cannot eat. Like if someone fixed me a plate, that whole plate. You know, I have to eat half of it and then later eat the other half, for example. A lot of my weight gain came back from drinking. But another counselor said, Theresa, did you consider with having a gastro bypass that you was most likely to become addicted to something else, such as the alcohol? And I said, you know what? I thought about that. And I really thought about that. And my family will also say, Theresa, after you got the gastro bypass, your drinking started within a year or two after when I had the surgery. So again, I'm not blaming it on that. It's just statistically and personally knowing this is part of me becoming an alcoholic, the one I didn't want to come. But my older kids, they got to experience me in dysfunctional relationships, unhealthy relationships. So remember this word, addictive relationships. Look it up. I'm going to go over that just briefly, and I'm going to tell you what I have done and why I've done it. Okay? So, again, we watched a movie called 6 Balloons About Addiction. It's on Netflix. So, remember, 6 Balloons About Addiction. That's a good movie. They asked us how did we relate to the movie. And so we went over different things like that. We went over trauma bonding. Yes, trauma bonding, how we connect to other people relating to our trauma unconsciously or consciously. You know, we in relationships with this. You know, we operate even with our children, bringing them up with this. It's there, but we don't identify it until it's brought to our attention in some fashion or form. And then when it's brought to our attention and how it's brought to our attention, that we retain it. And it becomes like a light bulb and we actually start working on it. Right? So, let me see what else. The topic we went over, no, that's something else. But anyway, I kept on taking my notes while I was in treatment. I'm a note taker. I'm a master level. Why wouldn't I go in somewhere I'm learning something to me? And not take notes and get better understanding, go back to my notes, do my research, ask questions to the counselor while I'm there, ask questions to the doctor while I'm there, really get a clear understanding. Again, it's taking all this for me to take this approach about me, you know, because it is about me. It's about my well-being, my sobriety, and I have to put that first right now. So what I have decided to do at the end of the day, they say in sobriety, you need to take 1 year of not dating. What they talking about? On the real, it's for real. Because I remember doing a year at base camp here in Columbus, Ohio, of not drinking. But I was in a relationship and I ended up relapsing later. I did 1 year in that relationship, far as not drinking. I was in a relationship for a couple of years before I got in this last one. And with that being said, I am going to follow that guideline. I am going to follow and do everything they told me to do, especially get a sponsor, which I said I don't like having. Get a sponsor, get into these meetings, get into support groups. I'm going to do exactly what they tell me to do because I was trying to do it my way and how I think it should go. And so I kept on replaying, redoing, trying this, trying that. It wasn't working. Even when it came to the alcohol, different alcohols, different timing, all that shit doesn't work. So I had to learn the hard way. As my cousin said, I was born ass backwards. But, ass backwards, it is what it is. So the other thing, let me tell you this. So with following the 1 year of no relationships, I really need this because my last relationship was very toxic. And I was thinking in my mind, if I get with an alcoholic, which he drunk every day, every day. If not, he'll find some way to get it. If I got with someone that drinks more than I do, it should work out. We're both the same. And getting with someone that likes to gamble, it should be equally fair. He ain't complaining about me. I'm not complaining about him. Well, it doesn't work that way. It is fucked up relationship from the get-go. But in my sick mind, I thought it would work out. So while I was there, the first day I was there in inpatient, a thought came across my mind about a particular book when it comes to relationships. But before coming inpatient, the person that I was dating during my last drinking episode, it got down to where it was a disagreement between us. I really don't have too much memory on the disagreement. I don't know what I was tripping about. I was drinking. Again, he did what he did. I did what I did. At the end of the day, I got the locks changed. I wouldn't let him back in the home. He got a warrant put on him because, one incident he's saying he did put his hands on me by snatching me up by my hair, still aggression and abuse. And one incident he's saying he didn't put his hands on me. Which one? You know what I'm saying? It had to be something that pushed me to go really into shock to the point my brother came over. I contacted my brother. He came over. Next thing I know, the police is at my house. I just know I was just crying so hard, and saying, as far as him putting his hands on me. So again, he did something, whatever it was. I went to that level if he didn't do nothing. Same level I went to when I told you about the gun in my face. I went to a whole different level. So something pushes us to certain levels. Drunk or high, it pushes us to survival mode, panic mode. So something happened that night. I just don't have a clear memory on it. My brother and my other family does. Okay, sorry about that. Again, when it comes to Theresa being in unhealthy relationship. So like I said, before I went to inpatient, I definitely decided, because I went and talked to him, right? I said, you know what? I really care about you. I really love you. I'll do anything to keep us together. Wrong thing. Wrong thing. And so the couple of days before I went into inpatient, something just dawned on to me like a bright light again. This man has not been here for you. You've been there for him. 1,000. Forget the 100. 1,000. I did more for him than he ever done for me. I've been there. I've been supportive. This is why I'm going to tell you about the book I'm talking about. Bend over backwards for him. You know what I'm saying? I take care, make sure he had housing. I made sure he had food, a ride, all this shit. Okay? I'm being that woman who loves too much. So I ended that before I went to inpatient treatment. I ended that relationship altogether, communication altogether, except for dealing with this warrant. My back door needs to be fixed because of him, and dealing with his personal stuff getting out my house, and my truck key that I never received, obtaining that. So certain things I'm going to have to let go. But moving forward, I'll let y'all know about that. Now, once I got inpatient, the day I went there, I was free-minded. I wasn't thinking about him. I didn't care no more. Emotionally, let go. I let go. And I was thinking about Theresa and my well-being and caring. I don't care about this man, So, and I don't care about trying to be in a relationship with him or anything else. So with that being said, going in there free-minded and excited, willing to be open-minded, willing to learn everything. So the day I got there, I called my children because they got my bank information. And I said, I want to order this book called Women Who Love Too Much by Robin Norwood. So please look it up. And with that book, I tried to read that book in my 20s, in my 30s. In my 20s, I'm crying so much, sitting at the park, sitting at the house. I could not seem to retain this book. But she told me at the beginning, when I read it this time, if you're feeling anger and going through all these different emotions, this is not the time to read this book. The book is too powerful, and it's telling us everything that we're going through, we're experiencing, that we're really not ready to hear at the time. So again, get the book for yourself. So ordering this book, I knew I wanted to work on me. I wanted to make sure not only that I'm working on my addiction, but I'm working on my addiction to unhealthy relationships. So moving forward, I'm able to be in a healthy relationship. I'm more healthier myself as a woman, to be a good woman for a man. So with that being said, loving too much, according to Robin Norwood in her book, she particularly verbatimly says this. Loving too much does not mean loving too many men or falling in love too often or having to a great depth of genuine love for another one. It doesn't mean that, loving too much. It means, in truth, obsessing about a man and calling that obsession love. That's me, especially this last relationship. With that being said, obsession, love, allowing it to control your emotions, which I did, and much of your behavior, which I did, realizing that it negatively influenced your health and your well-being, and yet finding yourself unable to let go. I knew in this relationship, for some reason, I knew from the beginning it really may not work, but I wanted it to work, So, and then it goes on to say, it means measuring the degree of your love by the depths of your torment. What does that mean? Well, it means a lot. Let me actually find that where it mentions that. And I'm going to talk about that for just a second. So the torment that I'm describing is uncertainty, pain, disappointment with this man. Okay? Unresponsive. He's not responding to your texts or whenever he wants to, however he wants to, if he ever does. Unavailable. Right? Can't get him by phone, can't get him by text, and all of a sudden he calls. Day later, 2 days later, right? Emotionally distanced. Emotionally unavailable. I experienced that. Cruelty, indifference, abuse. Physical, mentally, socially, sexually, spiritually, financially, we could go on. Unemotionally available, as I mentioned. Addictive. Unable to be loving or caring to you. Unable to give you the love that you deserve and need, that you're giving him. Going overboard. Okay? Uninterested men. They weren't interested in you, pertaining to me. From the get-go, you was useful for them. You was available to fulfill their needs and fuck your needs. Okay? Seen it, but wouldn't accept it. Nah, this couldn't be happening. This got to be better. Because I remember the person before he moved in my house, how we were. And then once he moved in my house, I start seeing within a short period of time, a whole different person. A whole different person. But I couldn't accept it. Then the ones I mentioned, you are a woman who loved too much if you experience any of those. You are. And even if it's just one. You're a woman that loves too much. Now, she also written a book for men who love too much by Robin Norwood. That book is teaching me, or have taught me, so much during the time in inpatient and recovering. So again, I'm taking a year of absence to be sexually involved with a man, taking this time for me to heal, taking this time to get into counseling, taking this time to get into other support groups that women that dealt with the stuff I have dealt with over the years. Nevertheless, this one relationship with my marriages or with men in general. I'm tired. I had enough, just like I had enough with drinking. I'm tired. Enough is enough. And again, what I'm going to do within the next month of April, I'm going to break down 2 chapters of a time, because it's 11 chapters in her book for women who love too much. 2 chapters at a time pertaining to me in the book. So during this time, I'm going to encourage others to purchase the book themselves. It's very inexpensive, $15, $8. It varies where you find it at. And I replaced the words us, we, she, her, or characters that they was telling their true story about their relationship in her book. I replaced the character names with I. I come to understand. So you'll hear me a lot saying that when I start reading verbatim what she was saying that applies to me and dysfunctional relationship. Again, she goes into your childhood and how we learned these behaviors with, learned the behaviors, and we start looking for mates that fit these criteria that we done learn that was unhealthy for us to have a healthy relationship. So in other words, what I'm saying is, if I choose not to take this journey that I'm about to take, I will continue to be in unhealthy relationships. And I'm done with that. This last relationship, enough is enough. And as they say, being broken. Also, I think this person's a narcissist too. Never dealt with a narcissist. But I believe anytime you call yourself a pretty boy all the time, in situations where you called a pretty boy supposedly, please, whatever. And as far as I'm concerned with him, he's not no dang on pretty boy. He all right looking. I mean, he's attractive. Don't get it wrong. But you're not no pretty boy. That you're not. But anyway, to me. With that being said, I'm going to do that. Couple situations that I experienced while I was there that was disturbing to me at Manova Park Behavior Health is where another peer, which is another woman in treatment, and I know race is not a factor in this, but it was a white female. And she came to me in 4 different situations. So one situation, she came to me and she was telling me, I'm going to say it in my words, I need to be mindful what I say among the group when it comes to my career, my experience, and what I do. First of all, who is this person telling me this? She's another addict. She does not work there. She is a peer support, as you call it. That means that they introduce you to the rules and they help you around the building, not physically, but, get you comfortable there, and help you, anything you need help with. Well, I didn't have her come in there. It was another lady that introduced me to the place, and, older woman than I am. But this particular female, that wasn't part of the rules. But the questions based in group, I responded to. And yes, I went into as a professional counselor, as a case manager. And when I say case management, I always compare it, it's like social workers. We do the same thing, it's just a different title. Okay, we use a lot of times the same tools of assessment and everything else are the same. It's just different titles. So I don't want people to get that confused when I say that. I'm not a social worker. I do social work, okay, as a case manager. But anyway, that was one incident. I said, okay. Then she came to me, it was around 6:30 in the morning. I waited till this other lady watched the news. I turned to a movie. I said, no, if I ain't in here, I'm up. Let me start watching the movie. And I love scary movies. So I turned to the movie. Next thing I know, you're not supposed to be watching movies. You have to watch a TV show. What's the difference between a TV show and a movie? They still similar. Again, I asked her, who are you to come to me telling me this? Well, I'm a peer. No, that's not part of the rules. And when I talked to the supervisor and the employee that runs the staff, that had nothing to do with any rules. Again, she's addressing me from her perspective, not the rules. Then the third time, I was talking about the book, Women Who Love Too Much. And Robin Norwood says, women like me don't like good men. So what she's saying is, I'm so used to the dysfunctional men, I'm attracted to them and they are attracted to me. I find what they call the good men that not argumentative, they are available, you know what I'm saying? They are loving, they do answer your calls, they do respond to your texts, they work, they make sure your needs are taken, all these things, not you taking care of them, but they are being there and being supportive to you. I am attracted to those men, but for some reason, I kept on over the years picking these dysfunctional men with some kind of addiction. I had one husband addicted to crack to find out. He kept on saying cocaine to find out it was crack. Okay? My mother had to educate me on it because, again, I didn't know. I don't deal with drugs, so I don't know. But back to what I was saying. So that was the second incident. The third one was where, again, I was talking about the book and I was in a room with two other women. And outside the room is the staff counter and stuff. But just to look out the door, you don't see nobody unless they're standing right there. So this particular person wasn't standing there. I didn't see her, but she heard everything I was saying. While she was listening to what I was saying, I'm still curious. Okay. So she came and approached me and said, yeah, I just want to let you know, you need to, I'm going to say it in my own words. I always use the word mindful, but she did not use that word. You need to be mindful of what you're talking about when it comes to dicks. And dicks this. I said, I'm sorry. I finally, at that point, I lost it. I said, listen here. First of all, if you know what's best with you, for you, not with you, for you, you best to leave me alone. And like I kept on talking to her, I said, you best to step down and leave me alone. And now what, she don't know me. I will catch her ass in that bathroom and fuck her ass up off the camera. She has the wrong woman. Now, yes, can I come aggressive? I can. Especially when you're fucking with me, that has nothing to do with the rules. It's your personal opinion. So let me back up. What I said in that room was, and I was telling them about the book, Women Who Love Too Much by Robin Norwood. I said, why is it that the good man have to be ugly with little dicks? I don't get it. I'll be nice too. I'll be a sweetheart too. So again, we still got to look past that with men, no matter what size they are. But, I was just kind of curious, like, what the hell? So some women consider good men however they consider them. But, learning about a man that is going to be, like I said, responsive to your needs, available to you, emotionally, mentally available, not just physically. You know, if y'all have an indifference, you're able to resolve it by communicating, not being physical or aggressive or abusive or anything. You know, being loving and caring, you know, interested in you. You're not some tool that he's using. Those are good men. So I didn't understand why she approached me about this. So that was 3. What topped it off was she went in the laundry room, had no business in the laundry room. It was other people's clothes in there. Whose clothes and panties, my panties, only seen by 2 people. Myself and the man I'm with. Now, the other woman that's doing laundry, of course she gonna see it because she does the laundry, right, for the women. Granted, but why was she in the laundry room particularly folding my panties, which I have footy socks, and my shirts? That didn't make sense to me. That creeped me the hell out. So when I said this person was fucking with me, I meant she was fucking with me. So I said, let me talk to the owner. The owner didn't have time to talk to me. So I ended up going eventually to one of the staff, and the staff went to her and said, listen, leave her alone. Don't say nothing to her. Don't even look at her. Leave her alone. That was this female's way of still getting some kind of response out of me by folding up my panties and socks. So, you know, out of courtesy, I said thank you and went on. But the whole while I was walking, holding my clothes, I'm like, why is this girl folding my panties, my stuff? Why? So, you know, again, I went through that. So I finally went to the supervisor and let her know. And again, she gave me feedback and let me know that she will have a talk with her. So, you know, at this point, this female, she'll walk by me. She don't say nothing. She left me alone. But in group, she'll kind of jump in on a question, something I'm making a statement about. She give her feedback or whatever. Like some kind of way. However, this female was trying to be connected to me. It wasn't going to work. Was she gay? No. She's actually married to a black man. So I knew it wasn't about race. I don't know if she got mixed kids or not. I don't know. I didn't go that in depth with her about her. But it was very uncomfortable, and I just wanted it to stop. Like I told him, I am here to learn not to pick up that alcohol bottle. Okay? I don't do drugs. Well, once in a while I do weed. But I don't mess with that on a regular basis. This is when I'm drinking, I mess with that. But anyway, that was one scenario. The other scenario dealt with a counselor there, you know, and our indifference. Like I told her, I'm a counselor like you. In other words, who are you talking to? Why are you trying to pull this game of projection? That means her values and beliefs onto me. Again, it had to do with what I'm doing now. Facebook. I'm like, what? I could do what I want to do. I have freedom of speech. Who are you to come in and project your beliefs onto me? Again, can I say this? I was the only black female in that group. It was 2 other black females, but they was in another group. I was the only among 8 to 9 other women black. The only one. So yes, I felt singled out at this point, especially dealing with the peer and dealing with this particular supervisor. Not supervisor, counselor. So the supervisor told me to write a letter so I don't have to attend her particular groups. And I did. And I mentioned freedom of speech. And I mentioned her projecting her values and beliefs onto me as if I didn't know she was doing that. You know, like I said, I'm a therapist like you, counselor, therapist, whatever y'all want to call us. But I need additional help right now. So those 2 things. I do want to give thanks to several people that was there for me during my admissions there at Manova Park Behavioral Health here in Columbus, Ohio. Her name is Essence. Essence, you are the bomb. You were there. You seen what was going on. And you definitely helped me to deal with the crap that was going on that I've personally experienced. You know, I want to say thank you to Sherry. She's one of the supervisors there. Thank you, Essence and Sherry, for your understanding when it came to my particular situations. with both people. And Tammy, the kitchen supervisor. And with the gastro bypass, she did let me get half of my meal. And then later on, I was able to get the other half. Because again, I don't eat like people think I do. I eat small quantities at different, like every 2 to 3 hours. Again, I had the surgery and that's how I eat. And I also want to say thank you to Lauren, which is also another staff member there. So Lauren, Essence, Sherry, and Tammy, thank you very much. They definitely made sure I felt comfortable in being there. All the other women, we got along fine. You know, I had one other misunderstanding with another Black woman, but we resolved that. And I don't know. I think she had someone do some kind of research on me as if I was lying about something. I said, I don't have to lie. There's no need to lie at my age. Anything I say, I could back it up. Bottom is that. And then we resolved the issue. So I just want to put that out there. So that's pretty much about it. Again, going inpatient was the best thing for me. And I believe I had learned a lot and definitely learned about addictive relationships and the unhealthy, toxic relationships I've been in. Definitely. And again, I'm going to get back live throughout the month, and I'm going to go over the book, Women Who Love Too Much by Robin Norwood, and how it applies to me. It's important for you to get the book. Men too. She has Men Who Love Too Much, to get the book and read it for yourself. But when you do, take out he or she, they or us, and put the word I in there to empower yourself. And how I stated mine, I have come to understand blah, 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 verbatim what she's saying. Because it fits me. It fits me so well. It fits me too well, what she described. So for you to know more about that, when I tune back in again to Facebook Live and I'm talking about this particular book, you know what I'm talking about. It's another person on Facebook. He go by the name Ace Metaphor. And for example, he was saying here, until he makes you unsingle, date them all. Well, so what he's saying in that, and I am so guilty of this. We as women, well, let me say this. For me, I'm the type of woman, when I get in a relationship with a man, I cut off all ties of other men that I have been with sexually, especially. Cut them off. We friends. I see you when I see you. I'm with somebody. I'm giving him his respect. He don't have to deal with other men. But again, they didn't put nothing on there to marry me. So what this guy is saying, leave your options open. He didn't say sleep with these men, but leave your options open until that man make you unsingle. You are single. That's what he's saying. You can go on different dates. You could go out to dinner. But committing yourself to that one person, again, I am so guilty of that because I look at it and I've been raised to be that way. I'm a faithful woman. I don't go out and cheat. I don't sit there and talk to other men on the phone, on Facebook. And if it's any men that's close to me, like Dr. Frederick Woods, I introduce my mate to him. They talk. They see each other, whether it's by video or in person. He knows who this person is as far as a male in my life and what role they play in my life. So I do that. But moving forward, Theresa's not doing it. I don't care. But I got a whole year to worry about that. Because remember I said earlier, I choose to be absent from committing to a relationship for 1 year in my sobriety to give my sobriety a chance to be able to heal and grow. And how am I going to do that again? One, according to her book, I'm following her guidelines as far as addictive, unhealthy, dysfunctional relationships. And part of that is getting into counseling about it, deal with my childhood trauma, get some healing going on, join groups with other women that has been experiencing relationships like I have, and they may experience worse things or less things. We're not there to compare. We're there to understand and what to do next, right? So individual counseling, family counseling with my children. if they willing. Because like right now, my 17-year-old doesn't want to do it. But the more I keep on trying to explain it to him, the more he's resistant. So we got to work on that. But individual family counseling, support groups, okay, attending AA meetings for me. When it comes to it, I'm doing outpatient, which is called IOP, stands for Intensive Outpatient Program. Again, we're still addressing the things like I did in inpatient to keep me sober. I am willing to do whatever it takes to not drink. I'm doing whatever it takes to heal emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it takes, because I was doing it my way. It didn't work. So I'm listening to others now. They got common sense and knowledge in these areas. Let me say that. I'm not just listening to somebody that don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I am. And I'm tired. So what is it going to do for me? It's going to provide me healing. It provides me a closer relationship with my higher power. Whatever you believe in, I may not believe in. Whatever religion you believe in, it doesn't matter. Whatever your higher power is. But my higher power is God, and I do believe in Jesus. So with that being said, with my higher powers, Jesus and God, counseling, support groups, meetings, outpatient program. Like they say, as much time I spent drinking, I need to put that time in and some double time staying sober. You got it, Theresa. I'm doing this. I'm going to rock this. Why? Because I know I deserve it. I deserve to have a healthy life. I'm 52. Like I keep on saying, I don't care about telling people my age. 52. I only got so long on the earth. Now, unless I live past 100, but still look fabulous, it's okay with me now. But if I do live to 100 or 100 and something, I want to be that wise woman. I want to be empowering to myself and to others, especially my children and my grandchildren. I want to be there to see them grow up. They move in different places, and I want to be there for you. I want to be able to come and tell you the blessings I have endured by making this change. It's a choice. It's not demanded. It's a choice. And I choose to be healthy in all aspects. I never want to step foot back into a dysfunctional relationship. I don't want to be that broken woman to another man. I want to be that healthy woman to a man. Okay, it's just that simple to me. I want to be that healthy soul to God. I want to be that tool that He used for other people and be supportive. So what I do and what I have done, because I told you in the first video, I ran my own business under Theresa Scott Prevention Services. I've been a radio host promoting in the business with domestic violence. But yeah, I stepped back into an abusive relationship. It just came from a different aspect I wasn't seeing. So even though we're the experts doesn't mean that we're not going to experience something, that something's not going to happen to wake us up more. Well, it woke me up this last relationship. Trust and believe to the point I'm happy that I got drunk that night. I'm happy whatever happened because it got me out of something I didn't know about. Like they were saying, another man besides Ace Metaphor, he was saying, you don't know those secret conversations that person was having with another person when it came to you and what was going to happen to you. You don't know what the other person was planning in the future when it came to you that God heard about and knew about and that He was bringing it to a stop. So I don't know what this last relationship, what he was doing, what he wasn't doing. I didn't go through his phone. No, most females do. I went by what he was telling me, which I found out was some lies, And again, I just was with this other person. This is how I should have known he was a cheater. When he was with this other person, his last relationship, they had their indifference. And from my understanding, she put him out But when she put him, okay, I don't know what happened. But anyway, when she put him out, I ended up talking to her while I was drunk, the worst time to talk to me. She stated he came and lived with me. That's not true. When she put him out, he went to his friend's house, which is a white guy named Ray. And Ray let him stay there. And he was there for months before I even knew he was there. However, I knew by talking to him on the phone and running into him that, they was doing whatever, him and his past girlfriend. So he ended up meeting the landlord, which is to find out is Ray's cousin. And Ray's cousin came over there unexpected, not knowing that he was living in the house with him. And she told Ray that he had 30 days to leave that housing. I really think Ray wanted him to move anyway. I don't know what was going on between them two, what was happening, but like I told him during the time when he came to stay with me, I said, well, you can come stay with me. We already having sex and, we might as well be in a relationship and kick it, be together. Again, thinking with my sick mind, we both drank and we both gambled. This would be a good combination. No. So again, I just want to clarify that. No, I didn't take in her hand-me-downs, leftover. He was staying somewhere else, but he had to leave there and he didn't have nowhere to go at that point. So I just want to put that out there because I don't like bullshit like that. So anyway, what I want to say, I'm just moving forward with everything. And I'm grateful again for everything that has happened. It is not the most comfortable situations at all that has happened to me in the last 3 to 4 months, really 5 months. Maybe 6. I don't lost track. I know it's been some months, but I don't regret nothing because I'm learning it as a lesson, something that's going to help me, to empower me to change. If these things didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have changed. I'm changing, and I'm changing for the good. I'm changing for the healthy lifestyle. I'm changing for me, for my family, for my friends, and you. Definitely. All right. I know this video probably broke in and out throughout the time. I don't know why. It's the wireless connection and all that stuff. But again, I'm grateful. And so far with my first video I did, I have over 3,000 views. That's a lot of people hearing my story. I thank all of you. For listening, taking the time to hear what I'm saying, learning from my mistakes as I share with you, that you don't make these mistakes, that you identify them and become aware and knowledgeable about it. And like I said, Ace Metaphor, he talks about it a lot. It's some other videos. That's what I want to say. Once you go to him, stroll up. And I believe every time I went from one, I went to maybe 1 or 2 didn't apply to me. But these other men are saying things that pertain to women when it came to men. And some of it for men when it pertained to women or dealing with women. But particularly, I'm going to focus on the one with women pertaining to men. And now, these men are hitting it on the nose. I don't have all their names, so I gave you one to start with. And start with the one where he says, until he make you unsingle, date them all. Again, he doesn't say sleep with them all. That's a whole different conversation. But statistically, I found out as women, when we start dating a man, do not sleep with him for 3 to 4 months. Maybe you need to extend it longer to make sure, because they're going to show their true self. And that goes for us women too. My true self, being an alcoholic, is horrible. I am not good with drinking. I'm the worst alcoholic you could think of. Not the worst is. There's other people out there a little off more than me. But I got my role in it. But sober, I'm good to rock and roll. Motivated, intelligent about my business. I'm good as long as I don't pick up and drink. And that's a blessing that I'm not picking up drinking. That's a blessing that I'm able to talk to you sober with a sound mind, an open mind, a willing mind, and the empowerment to change Theresa. I will keep you informed what's going on with me. If I relapse, I will be back on here and let y'all know I fucked up again. I'm not going to hide shit. To me, it's nothing to hide. Again, in these unhealthy relationships, just like with my drinking that you may be experiencing or drugs, our family notice it. Our friends notice it. The community knows it because we go out there. They see us. If we arguing and fighting with a man or a woman or whatever your preference is, they see it. They witness it too. The doctors, when you go in there, they witness and see bruises on you or bruises on him. I mean, what is it that we're hiding? So I was told by a friend, Theresa, you may not want to share everything with people on Facebook. What am I hiding? That I can't hide when I'm drunk? What am I hiding? What is there to hide? And I think it's Marvin Sapp says, no weapon formed against me. Maybe it's Fred Hammond. One of them. I'm telling you the truth. But whatever I tell you, it's not a weapon to me that anyone could use. Because if it was a weapon against me, why am I telling it? But I'm telling you everything because I don't believe nothing I say could be used against me. For what? When I'm speaking the truth, being honest, being real with myself, being real with others. That's how I look at it. So if someone throws something up in my face, I'm like, and what that's supposed to mean? And what's your purpose? I'm not understanding. So, again, I mentioned in the first video, either you could pray for me, support me, mentally, emotionally, you know what I'm talking about, or talk about me. You have 3 choices. Whichever one you choose, remember your addiction 9 out of 10 is gossiping, spreading rumors, lying. That's an addiction. It's really a behavior. It's a behavior pattern that you became adapted to. But it's a form of addiction. It's like you can't stop it. You just do it. What we supposed to do for each other is pray for each other. Be there some kind of way for another person besides just ourselves. And in the book, The Woman Who Loved Too Much, at the end of the chapter, she's going to tell you to share that book. Tell other people about it. Oh, she didn't have to worry about that. I'm on it. I have all my notes I was taking. And when I read in the chapters, I was taking down everything that applied to me. That's all I highlighted. All the other things that's unhighlighted may pertain to you, and what I highlighted pertain to you. Again, I'm going to encourage people to read a book. I can't tell the whole book. I can only tell what applies to me and give you that information. So if you want to be in tune to that, join me for that. If you have any questions or you want to say anything, I'm there. Some of the other people I see, they on camera. Another person, I can't pronounce your name, said we love you. Let me see. Okay. I see David, Eric, Catherine, Denicia. I'm not pronouncing that right. Where's the other ones? Lamba. I'm not saying that right. But anyway, I've seen some other ones because the video went in and out. I appreciate your support again. Oh, Jackie. Okay, so I see that y'all are tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Again, go to my first video. I'm in a brown shirt. And the second video, I'm actually in this shirt. It's just a different day and a different time. I decided to wear the same shirt again because I do love it. And you'll see that video with me in the shirt going to inpatient. The first video described a lot of things I went through before inpatient. And this video is about me coming out of inpatient and what I'm doing to move forward in my life. Again, when it comes to, for me, alcohol, not picking up that bottle. And for, Oh, addictive relationships, being in unhealthy, dysfunctional relationships, and what I'm doing to remain out of those and move forward in my life. I love you all. Thank you. I will see you on the rebound. Meanwhile, messenger me if you need to, and I'll respond to you. It's no problem, you know. So look forward to hearing from you or seeing you on video, and I'll be supportive of you. All right. Take care.